And welcome back, everyone, to What If. This is Tuesday's What If, done on Wednesday because I didn't get around to doing it. And this comes from us from Moz, what was it? Moz209, who was the question, what if the Doctor, uh, ALONZE, was in the MCU? Now, obviously, we can't just throw the Doctor's universe and merge it into the MCU because that's going to raise so much convolution. We are inserting the what if the Doctor was in the MCU. So anything pertaining to the Doctor's primary lore, the Time Lords, Gallifrey, things along those lines, have to exist within the MCU for this to work. But things like the Daleks, the Weeping Angels, Cybermen, they do not have to exist for this to work. Any villains he's faced or anything like that, like the Master, for example, theoretically could still exist in this world. But something like Davros, for example, could not. Because that's not what the what if is. You're not asking for a merger of the universe. You're asking what if the Doctor was in the MCU. And if someone wants to argue that with me, A, you need to specify your what ifs more. And B, just real quick notes. Once in a while I get someone who gets annoyed with how I do a what if. And they said, at one point they said something where I really was like, dude, it's not that people want something different. It's that you want some. I didn't say this by the way, but I'm just like, this is what I thought. Say they're kind of saying, what annoys me is that you do this, but people are asking for that, and I'm like, no. You're not asking for that. You don't get to speak for everyone else, unless you're in a community of people. Now, let's be honest, my community is very small compared to the rest of YouTube, but still, unless everyone in my community, my YouTube community, says otherwise, you don't get to speak for everyone else in that. You can speak for yourself, but not for everyone else, at least in that regard. I have to make assumptions, obviously, about what people want to see, but still. The point being is that we would work with the fact that Gallifrey exists, and furthermore, we can even go with the idea that there was still a time warp, because luckily the MCU introduced Kang, and Kang's whole idea is the multiverse, sacred timeline, TVA, all that, and waging a war against time, a multiversal war. So we can probably go under the idea that the Time Lords were a race of beings that existed for a while in the universe. The Doctor was among them. They figured out time travel, all that. Well, eventually the Kangs did not like that. And a time war, not just among the Kangs, but the Time Lords happened as well, with the Doctor still being the sole survivor. Now, and unfortunately, in this version, Gallifrey, I think, is actually just toast. Like, it's not trapped, suspended in time. It's not sent to an alternate reality. No, I think Gallifrey is toast because Kang, even, to be fair, we have not seen Kang's true potential yet. But it's clear that Kang has the ability to, because we know he's killed the Avengers multiple timelines, could wipe out an entire existence. And he even says in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I will burn them out of time itself. So Kang clearly has that ability to do so. It would just be that the Doctor is the only one left. It should also be noted that with the existence of the TVA and still He Who Remains, would they be going after the Doctor at all? Or would he even work for the TVA? The answer to that latter question, no. I do not see him working for the TVA. I think he just travels throughout time, does his thing, helps out people where he can. I think he definitely runs into the TVA more often than not, but I think although the Kangs win the Time War, the Time Lords, and particularly the Doctor, are still exceptionally dangerous. And Kang is aware that if there's one person in the universe that I probably don't want to screw with, it is probably the Doctor, as he is a manipulator of time on a similar level to me, if not maybe even greater. The Doctor's not infallible, but the Doctor is still immensely intelligent, immensely dangerous when he really wants to be. And so I think He Who Remains, who we know would be the one who was the only Kang around at the moment, He Who Remains, and at least by the start of the MCU, He Who Remains and the Doctor kind of have a mutual understanding. They stay out of each other's way. The Doctor's allowed to mess with time as long as keeps the history in check. and you know, the Doctor doesn't bother trying to go to the TVA. Him going to the TVA would be problematic anyway because of the way the TARDIS works. The TARDIS does not like to go into alternate dimensions very much. The TARDIS doesn't function very well in alternate dimensions. It's also the TARDIS is also sentient, so it's like I don't want to be here. Hell, when it deals with extremely powerful individuals like the Toymaker, it nopes out. Like last time it dealt with the Toymaker, the first time it dealt with the Toymaker, the Toymaker just prevented it from going anywhere. And so this time, the TARDIS, I believe, kind of just noped out when the Doctor, or say when the Toymaker showed back up in the Giggle. If I remember that correctly. I actually haven't fully watched the Giggle yet. Me and my girlfriend are watching. We're at the third season of Tennant's Run, which I believe is the last season. So we're starting to gear up for the Matt Smith era of the Doctor. But yeah. So yeah, these two, they kind of keep out of each other's way. The Doctor, still travels around. Now, companion. Could he still have any of his standard companions? Sure, they could exist in the MCU. Could anyone within the MCU that we know, like personally know, like any named character, be a companion? And I mean, look, some of the Doctor's companions are males, but he usually has at least one female companion along with him. So is there any female character we know of that could be a companion with him? I mean, honestly, a Cassie Lang could work. This would be much later down the road, but a Cassie Lang could work as a companion. Especially when you think of the timey-wimey shenanigans dealing with Quantumania. So Cassie could work. It could be an older. They could also be older. They could also be younger. I don't see like any of the heroes really being companions at all. Like it'd be interesting to see like after the events of like WandaVision or something like that, that the Doctor maybe persuades Wanda to go with him to try to help her out. The problem is Wanda's so powerful that even the Doctor wouldn't really be able to do much against Wanda. At least from what we know about the Doctor. Here's why the Doctor is not infallible. The Doctor theoretically can best anyone. He's kind of the Batman of that world. Like with prep or just thinking his way out of things, he can theoretically best anyone, especially with his knowledge of technology and time. But he's still capable of just being killed, captured, and all that. He gets captured, and because of his passive nature, he gets captured and contained and could easily be killed on multiple occasions. He's usually just like a Deus Ex Machina plot device that helps him out. So the Doctor's kind of hit and miss there. I would say this. I think maybe he has one of his standard companions to begin with, and then later on when we get around to Quantumania, Cassie Lang becomes his companion. I could see that. But that raises the next question. Which Doctor do we have right now? Do we start with the original? Do we start with Tennant? Do we start with 4, 5, or 6? Capaldi? Who do we start with? For me, because I didn't watch any of the classic Who, we could and because it would be taking place after the Time War, I would say we start with Eccleston. Eccleston would still be the Doctor we show up with. And with aliens still kind of causing randomness on Earth, he's still doing his thing. Now, real quick for timeline, the only MCU film that really goes really through centuries, not millenniums of time, is Eternals. Could Eccleston have shown up at any point in time, or any version of the Doctor shown up at any point in time during the events of the Eternals? And I actually think he could have. Whether or not he would have been, and I think it probably would have been when Tiamat was waking up. And maybe it wasn't, and maybe it's not Eccleston who's showing up at that point. Maybe it is Tennant, or maybe it's Matt Smith. It's like, well, I'll be. It's like, what? That thing, it can't be. Or he could see it and know what it is. Like, it can't be. It's celestial. So it's like, celestials are gods, creators of the universe. It's born from planets with enough life energy to birth them. Creators of galaxies and realities. But of course, if they're born, the planet dies. So we have to work fast. And so, the Eternals are looking out. And he starts going to science on Jumbo. It's like the powered by a coal. The coal is powered by life force. If I can reduce it to play idea, this, I might be able to help them out. And so they see, and with the Eternals, at least like oh god, Icarus and crap. What was Salma Hayek's character's name? Because they were the only two who actually kept their memories usually. Would they have met the Doctor or know what a Time Lord is? Because they've been doing this for God knows how long. That's a good question. I didn't think about if they would recognize the Doctor. Probably not. Although maybe they could recognize the TARDIS. Like maybe they've never actually legitimately met him. But when Icarus is like fighting them and he sees the TARDIS, like that son of a bitch, him again. It's like, no, you're not. And they're like, they have to keep him down. It's like, all right, here we go. It's like, it's like, oh, hello there. Would you mind stepping out of the way? It's like, oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. I can't do his Scottish accent very well. I can't remember the actor's name either, but yeah, he's from Game of Thrones. I like him too. He's a good actor. I was like, I don't wear a cape. There it goes. I kind of had that. I kind of had that accent. He talks a bit like this. It's a little. It's not quite that standard Scottish, like that. Oh, he's not there, but he is. I believe he is Scottish, or he's something at least similar to it, or close enough to it. I can't remember his nationality, but yeah, it's something like that. Point being, he's about to get down there, and unfortunately, they don't have it. Oh, I mean, was it Davros? Not Davros. Davos was his name. Tyrese Henry's character. Tyree Henry, not Tyrese Henry's. Tyrese, he had tech, and the sonic screwdriver can mess up with tech. And technically, they're they're like biomechanical being, like they're artificial beings. And we've seen that their bodies are not designed the same as normal humans. I don't know if a sonic screwdriver could do anything to him, though. I would probably lean towards no on that answer. But fortunately, the Doctor's saved, and he helps them out and turns Tiamat to stone and say, well, doing the best I can. And so we would start with the actual MCU as a whole. Which begs the question, does the Doctor literally show up in every single movie? Realistically, no. But let's just do a fun little, let's just say for sake of arguments here that yes, he does. Remember, too, some of these movies take place, they're kind of coinciding with each other. So the Doctor theoretically can't be everywhere at once, but assuming the Doctor shows up in every movie, let's just run this down real quick. Iron Man, he shows up, maybe he sees the Octorox, impressive, and maybe this is where he's met Rose, this is after he's met Rose. And so him and Rose are kind of like just watching the Stark exhibit, and they are astounded by it, and it's like, my, what the way these humans have progressed is amazing. And so would he be around to stop Iron Man or not Iron Man, but would he be around to stop Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane? I don't think he would. The Doctor being is kind of situational. Usually when he's stopping a threat, it's kind of a global threat. A lot of, like almost every episode, the threat is on a very large scale for whatever reason. So I guess the question we now have to, the way we can kind of determine which scenarios the Doctor shows up in for the movies is which movies had that caliber of a threat. So Iron Man did not. Hulk really did not. Neither did Thor. Kind of got there a little bit. Thor would be the one I think you could make an argument for. Maybe even you could also make an argument for Captain America, where he kind of helps out. That helps them figure out the tech to make the vibranium shield. We know that the vibranium was supplied by Wakanda, but how to turn it into a shield, like maybe he uses a sonic screwdriver to kind of meld it in the right shape. Who knows? Thor would be the one where you might actually start to see some changes. Like when the Bifrost sends Thor's down, he gets a reading. And so he shows up and says, well, it's like, what are we doing here, Douglas? Well, we're trying to find where that reading came from. It's like, no, wait a minute. All right, here we are. Oh, fantastic. It's like, oh, you're Asgardian. I haven't met one of you in ages. Oh, pleasure to meet you. It's like, oh, I'm Thor, son of Odin. Oh, this is Thor. It's like, so what are you doing down here? It's like, sir, I'm not sure. It's like, oh, forgive me. I'm the Doctor. your man of medicine. Oh, no, just the doctor. It's like, I'm a Time Lord. Time Lord. I thought your race was extinct. And he kind of gets a little bit, yeah, they are. He's is it? I see you. Alas, I apologize. And no, it's fine. And so he might be there to help out with Thor. And when the a destroyer comes, he could be there. Now, would the Sonic Screwdriver work on Asgardian tech? Theoretically, it works on any tech. Just about. It just doesn't do wood or turkeys. So I guess it would work. It probably wouldn't stop the destroyer, but it probably would short out some of the destroyer's tech, like his weaponry. And so, he's fire attack. They're trying to. Rosa's like, we gotta get him to his hammer. Come on. It's like, that's got it. But isn't it magical? Technically, but magic is just science that you don't understand, right? So if I can just bypass this, and as he's working, all of a sudden the hammer just flies. I was like, told you I did. And honestly, maybe one of the things he could do is kind of summon the TARDIS to kind of maybe block a bit of the Destroyer's strike. The Destroyer's probably not strong enough to destroy the TARDIS. In fact, it definitely isn't. But maybe damage it a little bit, give it at least some char burn marks. Yeah, I can see that. And so, yeah, that would be, I think, pretty solid. The Doctor could theoretically be kind of like a Doctor Strange. Not truly an Avenger, but kind of an honorary Avenger. Because the next movie that would make sense for him to show up in would be Avengers. And so he shows up when you get to hear the whirling of the TARDIS while they're on the SHIELD helicopter. Hello, Doctor, so good for you to join us. It's like, Doctor, it's a Professor Banner to meet the Doctor, a Time Lord who's, Fury, look at you. Oh, I remember when you were strapping. I remember when you were still had hair. It's like, yeah, lots changed over the years. Like, for example, it's like, you are deemed a threat, Doctor. Oh, come on now. It's like, true, but can you really contain me? Oh, what exactly are you gonna do, and how are you gonna stop it? I could do this. The weapon's just been, come on. And they kind of convince the Vince, like, come on, God, come on, Fury, or come on, Nick. Be a pal. It's like, Doctor, why do I recognize the name? Oh, was it Captain America? And it's like, man at a time. How's it feel? Odd to say the least. Trust me, when you do it day to day like I do, you get used to it. It's like, oh, Rose, these are the Avengers. That were the what? It's like, he just says, oh, the Avengers. That's my. Oh, are we not? Oh, sorry, because he's seen these things. And so the Doctor would be helping him out. It's like, and like, for instance, the staff, for example, he'd be analyzing the staff and helping them out. Yeah, this is something different. I'm not familiar with it. This is radiation. What is it? I've seen this before. And I don't like it. And so, the Doctor would be helping like Banner and Stark, analyzing the Time Stone, analyzing the Rod. Now, could the Time Stone, they say time, I said mind. Could the Mind Stone influence him like it was influencing the other? Like, it wasn't straight out controlling minds, but it was influencing them. Could the Mind Stone do that to the Doctor? Because has the Doctor ever been, mind controlled? And the Doctor, I haven't gotten, obviously we're only in like the last part of the Tennant era right now, starting that up. So I haven't seen the Doctor be mind controlled, but you'll have to let me know in the comments if he has ever been mind controlled. I imagine he'd be resistant to it. Like, something like that couldn't affect him, at least in the same way it affects the others. And he quickly realized, like, everyone, shut up! And it's like, it's not you. And it's like, this is not you. It's that bloody Rod. And then obviously the attack happens. And so the Doctor's there, and so the Doctor kind of helps get some of them off the ship. TARDIS flies off. He joins in the fight in New York. He's basically he's trying to he's doing the pacifist thing. He's using the TARDIS, I think, actually to block the doorway, bottleneck the portal along with Thor. He's trying to actually help maybe close the portal, like with the Tesseract, because he is very smart. And occasionally just shutting off Chitauri tech. He uses the staff, ultimately with the help of Black Widow. Unfortunately, maybe Black Widow gets injured in this scenario. It's like, I got it, and he's starting to get, his arm is starting to get torn up. It's like, ah! It's like, do it! And he just shuts off the Tesseract, but at the cost of his life. Tony wakes up. Tony is saved, but they go and they find the doctor. He's got like a missing arm, all that. It's like, and Rose is like, Doctor, it's all right, Rose. It's like, no, you can't die. Oh, is there anything you can do? Oh, I'm doing it right now. You see, Time Lords have this little trick for cheating death, but it means I'm going to change it. I'm not going to see it again. Not like this. And so I want you to know, all of you, you are all fantastic. Hey, you know what? So was I. And then he regenerates, and they all back off, and he turns into David Tennant. And so Tennant, and then they say their goodbyes, and Tennant is off doing his own thing. Now, I think even though the portal thing would be fun for Thor Dark World, I think Tennant's Doctor would kind of be out of the picture for at least a couple movies. He's certainly not going to show up for Captain America movies. I don't even think he's seen him show up for Civil War. Thor would make some sense, but I don't think so. I think the next time we see him would be Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that would be the next time we see him. And I think it would be more like just a cameo where him and Rose are just kind of chilling out in like a bar, or like where they go to meet the collector on Nowhere. All that. And there's there when Ronan shows up, and they realize we have to stop him. If there's I'm running low on battery. Hold on. We are gonna do an action shot, people. Action shot, because I need to get my charger. I thought I had more energy, but action shot. So anyway, as I was saying, so maybe he actually inadvertently, similar to what he does in Avengers, aids in the defeat of Ronan. When the Nova Corps are, think words here as I'm multitasking really hard right now. When the Nova Corps are like creating their shield, he helps to strengthen his shield using the TARDIS. That I can see him doing. And it's like, what is he doing? It's like, you will not. And because Tennant has a lot more, I think, of an edge to him. Honestly, Eccleston. I love Eccleston. I actually really like Eccleston a lot. I do like Tennant more. Eccleston really kind of turned into a kind of like a big puppy a little bit. It's like, hello, like a big dog. Just like he has lab energy. He really does have retriever energy to him. And so, I can see Tennant saying, you will not set one foot on this planet, not so long as I'm here. And it's like, yeah. And they're like trying to get through. And ultimately he aids in the destruction of Ronan, the time. Now, could he hold, how much power is within the Doctor or any Time Lord? Could he be someone who grabs the Power Stone and lives? Probably not. And this is due to the fact, although it's difficult because it's not solely based on how physically your body can handle the Power Stone. It's also based on what energy you have in there to combat the Power Stone. And the Doctor does have a lot of energy in him, thanks to Time Lord biology and regeneration. So I don't think he could hold. I think he could hold on to it longer than other people could. Similar to like how Peter could hold on to it more effectively than other people could because he was part Celestial. I think the Doctor could hold on to it, just wouldn't be forever, and so others help him out. It's like, thanks for everything you did. Well, my pleasure. I just try to stay out of trouble now. And so he disappears into the timeline. So where would he show up next? Where would the Doctor show up next? I actually don't see him showing up for Age of Ultron. Although, maybe he could show up. Maybe they party with the Avengers and he's there to help Ultron. He would be a nightmare for Ultron because he'd be like, sorry about that, but no. It's just a sonic screwdriver could shut Ultron down. Like, even if Ultron just displaces his consciousness somewhere else, he can just shut that. The screwdriver alone can shut down any of his electronics. Unless Ultron were to build in some sort of sonic resistor. Which maybe if he knows about like the Doctor, which he probably would, maybe he'd do. But then he's got to cope with the TARDIS, enhanced intelligence, the level of intelligence the Doctor has, all of that. Still, I really don't see the Doctor being very involved with Age of Ultron, nor do I see him being involved with Ant-Man. He's definitely not involved with Ant-Man. Not involved with Civil War. Could he be involved with Doctor Strange, though? And I think at this point, we see him. This would probably be the Matt Smith Doctor at this point. The reason for that, I just think it's important that we keep trugging along with the Doctor in general. But this would, I think, be the Matt Smith Doctor. We could see maybe an adventure happening where he got hurt. Hell, maybe he joined up with the Guardians for their fight with Ego, and he turned into Matt Smith there. That could make a lot of sense. He would also be, at this point, he would be with what? Donna, or I believe it's Amy at this point would be his his companion. So, and yeah, even though we're only at, my girlfriend's watched a lot more Doctor Who than me, so she knows about these later on. I'm very aware of a lot of the Doctor stuff in the Doctor Who universe. I just haven't personally watched them yet. So the Doctor could show up for Doctor Strange and explain how time works. And with the Time Stone specifically, yeah, it's like the Doctor Keaton explains like probably a little bit of the Time Stone exists exists within all the Time Lords. It's a rumor that there was exposure to it that gave us the ability to regenerate and manipulate time as freely as we do. So yeah, that might be the reason the Time Stone might be the reason Time Lords have the abilities they do. That'd be a good piece of lore. Matt Smith's Doctor would come in, do the best he can. The problem is that without any real abilities, the Doctor has to rely on tech and his wits, and especially with time manipulation, it becomes a little difficult. Even though he is immune to things like time stops, Doctor Strange isn't time stopping, he's actually reversing time. So luckily, the Doctor would be arguably immune to that, or at least resistant. Add on the fact that he would also be among the people of Doctor Strange who would not be having the time reversed. There you go. So I think he might give him Doctor Strange a little bit of help here, in the sense that he would explain to him how the Time Stone actually works a little bit more effectively, and there give him a bit more of a edge and a grasp on how to use it to stop Dormammu. He would disappear for a while again. I do not see him showing up actually for a good portion of the other movies. He's not showing up for Spider-Man. I don't even see him showing up for Thor, if I'm going to be honest. Am I missing one here? Captain America, Thor. No, like he hears about the destruction of Asgard, and so I don't see that happening. Then Black Panther definitely doesn't show up for Black Panther. He would probably show up for Infinity War. That's what would happen. Like everyone's converging. The Doctor probably shows up. Which battlefield would he show up on, do you think? Would he show up on the Wakanda front, or would he show up on the Titan front? I think Titan. Actually, no, I think Wakanda, because he knows there's going to be... He can probably create some fun tech to help aid in the fight. Like amplifying his sonic screwdriver, for example, with like vibranium or whatever. And because vibranium absorbs vibrations, it's almost like an echo chamber, so like super amps his sonic screwdriver. He's like blowing back like I can't remember what they're called actually, but the foot soldiers for Thanos. He's blowing the back with sonic waves. Eventually though, Thanos does show up. And Thanos starts cleaving through him. The Doctor knows he can't really do anything against him. And so he instead throws the TARDIS at him. I don't mean he throws it at him, but he basically summons the TARDIS and kind of traps him. Basically summons the TARDIS obviously around him maybe, and Thanos realizes that he's suddenly inside the TARDIS. It's like, what is this? It's called the TARDIS, and I can't remember the acronym for the TARDIS. Time and TARDIS. I can't remember the acronym for the TARDIS. I mean, you know what? I can look it up real quick. TARDIS. TARDIS. All right, TARDIS. TARDIS Doctor Who. There we go. Stands for. What does TARDIS stand for? It stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. Now, the Infinity Stones, unfortunately, probably as a whole, probably do outrank the TARDIS very much because they control other aspects of reality or the universe, not just time. But the TARDIS, I think, has enough power to contain Thanos. Like, I think you could prevent him from using the Space Stone and the Time Stone, respectively. Unfortunately, the glove, while tech, I don't think is enough that sonic screwdriver could work. And I think he pretty much just kind of wastes the Doctor as he kind of teleports him away. Like he's trying to throw him in a black hole or something, but unfortunately he does end up mortally wounding the Doctor. TARDIS is left floating in space. Thanos, however, after getting thrown out into space, just uses the Space Stone to come back, although he is now injured thanks to what the Doctor did to him. And unfortunately, it ends up being the end of the Avengers. That being said, however, coming towards Endgame, the Doctor would reappear. But he reappears at the very end of, I think even like from notes left by the Doctor and some of his companions, they explain how maybe time travel worked with the Doctor, and that's how they're also able to figure out time travel with the Pym particles as well. Through a combination of Ant-Man and the Doctor, they're able to do it. And then when Thanos eventually shows up, the three are, facing him down. They get smacked down. Obviously, you get Cap there, Steve ready to go one more round, and all of a sudden on your left, and then you see the portals, and then all of a sudden he hears the unfamiliar sound. I can't do the sound. There's no way I can imitate the sound of the TARDIS. So anyone who could actually do an imitate, like legit, I mean, is Carl Winslow, not Carl Winslow. I can't remember the guy from Police Academy, but that guy could do just about any voice or any sound. It's incredible. If there's anyone out there who can actually do a TARDIS impression, let me know, or if you can find a YouTube video of it. But he shows up, and it would be the Capaldi Doctor at this point, back again. It's like, Doctor! And so he comes back, and we know, too, this Doctor was a lot more ruthless than the last couple incarnations. Like, he had a mean streak in him. But it was also due to the fact that he wasn't sure he was a good man, too. He was very jaded, very bitter, and he knew a lot of the shit he had done. Like, it was going to haunt him. And so, he's throwing back warrior fighters, all that. He reconnects with, I think it'd be Clara. I think that would be the one he reconnects with. And so the Doctor goes on his merry way after he honors a fallen comrade in Tony, obviously. So you would end. He's probably there to help Banner. It's like, well, you need to do this and this and this. And it's like, all right, we're turning back to the proper time frame. And he also probably reads between the lines of what Cap says. Like, he hears that, and he doesn't stop. And, like, sometimes, and Hulk maybe even turns and is like, did you know he was going to do that? It's like, I have my suspicions. But why did you, and why didn't you try to stop him? Why would I? A soldier who's lived for his entire life, 100 plus years, and he never once got his peace. Don't you think it was time he deserved a little bit of that? Peace is something some of us so rarely get. So when you find it, hold on to it. And so he would go and do his own thing as well. The Doctor would disappear again. And so you'd have the Marvel MCU Doctor. That would be a fun series. I know a lot of people are like, Marvel's dead. Marvel's not dead. Get over yourself. Is Marvel in a rough spot? Yes, but Marvel, it looks like they're making the steps to come back into the light and come back big. So we can only hold our fingers crossed that it's going to work. Or that they will come back strong. Deadpool, Daredevil, Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts. We can only hope that they are, because it looks like they are steadying the course. They were pumping out too much shit, too much content. They even said they had a mandate and they had to do it. I just hate these people who say the MCU's dead. It's not dead. If you want to look at Guardians and tell me it's not. Tell me it's dead. Look at Loki 2 and tell me it's not dead. Now you can also say, well, look at Captain Marvel. Yeah, first one to actually lose money out of 30 plus films. Yeah, that one's dead. And then the previous year, yeah, it wasn't that great, but you still had movies that at minimum made $700+ million. So you know what? Bite me. Bite me on that. It's just in a rough state right now. But they started taking a year off. Just got Deadpool. I think they got 1 or 2 series coming out, but that's it. I digress, though. Now comes the interesting part. Does the Doctor show up not just in any movies, but in any Disney Plus shows. He's not showing up in Black Widow. Let's get that out of the way. I also don't see him showing up in Shang-Chi. Probably not Spider-Man. Although there's dimension breakdown, so maybe he could appear in Spider-Man. Or at that point, it would probably be she. Because I think at that point, you would probably have Jodie's doctor coming in. Probably. Because you're dealing with WandaVision, where I actually think Capaldi would show up a little bit. Having known Wanda for a little bit, all that, trying to help her. It's like, Wanda, please. It's like, this isn't going to end the way you think it will end. Maybe, and at some point, I can even see the Zygon War speech being brought into here at some point. Not with Wanda, mind you, but some point between his next regeneration into Jodie and WandaVision, I could see it happening in Falcon Winter Soldier. Like, maybe briefly, but then again, there's no real reason for him to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Whatever the war speech is, whatever altered version you'd have of the Zygon War speech in this, it would have to be something that would make sense for him to be there in general. I don't see Falcon and Winter Soldier making sense for him being there. Loki does make sense for him to show up. Like, him being not a member of TVA, but having history with the TVA makes a lot of sense, as I said earlier. So, ultimately, in fact, actually, really, when you break it down, I think the real cool interaction would be, and because we're at Capaldi's doctor, and He Who Remains, and Loki together having that conversation. But, I think the Doctor only shows up and really is there to be like, when he shows up, for example, it wouldn't be in Loki season 1, it'd be in Loki season 2, when you get the arguably the best scene, like just dialogue, character exchange scene in that entire series, to be honest. That scene with him and He Who Remains, where they talk and they're going back and forth about the issue. I don't know what it is. Something about that scene. I think when it's when he stops time, it basically shows he could have stopped at any point. From there, when Loki leaves, something about that scene is just so damn good. And I don't know. I could, but we'll get to that. So he'll show up maybe briefly in Loki there, but because I think one of the limitations of the Doctor would be he's kind of limited to the sacred timeline. He can go into the TVA if he needs to, but similar to like I said with the TARDIS earlier, what I said with the TARDIS not really good in other dimensions, similar issue here. It's like, yeah, he can go there, but it's taxing on the TARDIS. So you would get then Hawkeye. I don't see him showing up for Hawkeye at all. The following year that's when we had Doctor Strange. No, sorry, that's when we had Spider-Man's when he showed up. And maybe that is Jodie's doctor then, maybe. And Doctor's like, who are you? Like, I'm the doctor. Like, I'm not even try. The bits I've seen from Jodie, I'm like, oh God, oh no, this one's gonna hurt when we get there. There's some good episodes in the Jodie Whittaker run. There are good episodes I've seen. Like, there's at least aspects of it. Like when some of the other doctors came back, that was actually kind of good. But otherwise, like, ugh. So you would get Jodie's coming in. It's like, what's going on? You're breaking down the fabric of dimension, other realities. Like, this is not good. It's like, you think I don't know that? It's like, is there anything you can do? It's like, I can try to brace for the wall, stabilize the cracks to keep them from growing any larger, but I can't close it. You opened it. You need to close it. And so Jodie maybe helps out there. So with the other series, Miss Marvel, think words here. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, which I think were like the big ones. If I'm blanking on one for that year, let me know. But for those, would she show up at all? And it would be Jodie's doctor right now. Because of the writing on the show, I could see her showing up for She-Hulk. Like, you know what? That is not a bad comparison, actually. She-Hulk is the equivalent of the 14th, oh no, sorry, the 13th Doctor's run of Doctor Who. There's good elements in there. It's just, it's bogged down by bad writing. But I can see her showing up, not doing much, but just showing up for like a weird cameo. She could show up for Miss Marvel. I don't see her showing up for Moon Knight. She could show up for Miss Marvel. I don't see her also showing up for Doctor Strange, oddly enough, because that was really dealing with parallel universes, and even though that would kind of be up the Doctor's alley, she would have just shown up for Spider-Man as well. So either she shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home, or she shows up in, I forgot Far From Home. She wouldn't show up for that. Nor would she show up, I think, for Captain Marvel, now that I think about it. I forgot Captain Marvel, too. I blanked on a couple. That's how many movies there have been in this damn franchise. And I love nearly all of them to death. Some more than others. But, yeah, if she shows up for either of the Doctor Strange ones, I think she shows up for Multiverse of Madness. And she maybe shows up and is the one who actually rescues the Doctor. I think maybe that's what it is. Instead of the Doctor, using the, dream walking into his undead body, I think that's what it is. The Doctor comes and helps him out, and it's like, and probably Jodie explains what's going on and how we might be able to counteract that. So instead of Doctor Strange, getting the eye for it being corrupted, at least semi, by the Darkhold, we would have him using some combination of the Doctor's tech or knowledge to help counteract what's going on here. And maybe the Doctor even's like, Wanda, it's me. It's the Doctor. I was like, Doctor, I understand what you're doing, but let's say, and she just even says, let's say, okay, fine. And they even help persuade America. She pops the hole. They are in that reality now with the other Wanderer kids. And I think Jodie even kind of walks up and has, I think, what would be I'm calling her Jodie because let's be honest, the Jodie Whittaker one, and basically says, like, is this the person you want your kids to be raised by? So is this how you want your kids to see you now? It's like, this isn't the right way, Wanda. This isn't. It's like, please, just let it go. And no, she does. And, they say their goodbyes. Doctor goes out and has a decent day. And he doesn't have his eye screaming. So there you go. So, with that said, where would Jodie's character's run end? Honestly, it would make sense that it would probably be Quantumania. She probably gets just mercilessly killed by Kang. And then turns into the 14th Doctor, Tennant again. And Domino, what are you doing in there? Sorry, my dog's just making noises. So I think, she's helping with Quantumania. In fact, maybe that's one thing. Maybe she's chilling out with the Pims. And she gets sucked into the quantum realm. The TARDIS can't follow down there. Doing everything she can, but ultimately it's useless. Kang recognizes her because all the Kangs probably at least know of the Doctor. It's like, Doctor, it's like, yeah, and I can see an interaction kind of like, yeah, you're a Time Lord. I thought I killed all of you. And it's like, nope, last one. I'll have to rectify that, and then just poof, and just kills her. But but before he's able to stop her from regenerating, he gets attacked by them. Regenerates back into the Tennant, but the 14th Doctor. And they help in the defeat of Kang. Then you get the Cassie Lang partnership, the companion. Beyond that, is there anywhere else the Doctor shows up? Doesn't show up in Secret War. I don't see any reason why that would be the case. What else was? I can't remember. It was Ant-Man and the Wasp. Or Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. There was a series between that and Guardians 3, and I can't remember which one it was. Or maybe it wasn't. Oh, no, was Secret War between that and then Guardians came out? I'm blanking a little bit on that. Or was it... or was it Quantumania? I think it was Quantumania, it was Guardians, then Secret War, then Loki, then the Marvels. And then right now we're in the doldrum period of nothing until we get to the Deadpool 3. In which case the Doctor probably would show back up again. So yeah, the Doctor's run in the MCU would be very interesting to say the least. We went all along and went off some wild tangents, but there we are. But what do you think? How do you think the Doctor would react or how would function within the MCU? The Doctor would be a very unique character to throw into the MCU. No particularly strong powers, but enough tech, science, and knowledge to really really put a stamp into the MCU. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.